Hello children, in today's class we are going to learn a new chapter, that is transportation in animals and plants. To stay alive, all living organisms need to transport materials like food, water and oxygen to various parts of the body. If you see in our day-to-day life, there are different means of transport that run on the road like buses, scooters, cars, etc. They help in carrying the materials that are needed by human beings. In the similar way, in our body also, there is a transport system that helps in transporting essential materials like food, oxygen, carbon dioxide to various parts of the body. That transport system is called as circulatory system. What it is called? Circulatory system. So it is an organ system, just like that of digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system. Like that, we have circulatory system that helps in circulation, that helps in transporting the various essential items like food, oxygen, carbon dioxide, waste materials, hormones, etc. inside our body. This organ system is called as circulatory system. So what is circulatory system made up of? That we will discuss today. Circulatory system is made up of mainly three components. They are blood, blood vessels and heart. What are they? The components of circulatory system are blood, blood vessels and heart. Now we will discuss today about blood and its composition. All of you are aware that blood is a liquid medium. It is a liquid tissue. It is red colored fluid that flows or circulates inside our body, and this tissue, fluid tissue, is called as blood. It acts as a means of transport, means it helps in carrying the things, carrying the materials such as food, oxygen, carbon dioxide, waste materials, etc. in our body. So blood helps in carrying the materials. In short, we can say blood helps in transporting or carrying the materials in our body. It is a transporting medium. It is a liquid tissue. What is it made up of? Blood is mainly made up of liquid content. It is liquid in nature. So the liquid part of the blood is called as plasma. What it is called? Plasma, which is made up of water and some other materials. Plasma is the liquid part of the blood, which itself is yellowish in color and contains about 90% water. Plasma contains about 90% water and it has some food, waste, enzymes, etc. dissolved in it. The blood also contains three types of cells. They are red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets. Blood has got how many types of cells? Three types of cells. Red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. So if you see the diagram given here, the plasma is around 55% in the blood. Red blood cells, they are present around 41% and remaining 4% is our white blood cells. So from this what you understand is that red blood cells are more in number. That's why our blood looks red in color, because of the presence of red blood cells. What is plasma? If I ask you a question, very simple answer you can give. It is a liquid part of the blood, liquid portion of the blood, which is yellow in color, slightly yellowish in color. It contains other cells like red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, etc. And plasma is mainly containing how much percentage of water? It is made up of 90% of water. Now let me explain about each type of blood cells. First we will discuss about red blood cells. If you see the diagram given here, the red blood cells are spherical in nature. Spherical means they are round in nature. Spherical means circular in nature. There are also other name given to red blood cells are erythrocytes. So if I ask what are erythrocytes, they are the red blood cells. They are red colored, spherical and biconcave cells. Biconcave means they are bent in middle. You can see in the diagram here they are bent in the middle. Both the sides they are bent. So biconcave. They contain a protein called pigment, or I can say protein. That protein is a pigment called as hemoglobin. This hemoglobin is iron pigment which gives red color to our blood. And what is the special function of hemoglobin is it helps in carrying the oxygen from the lungs and gives to all the cells of the body. Hemoglobin can bind with oxygen and release this oxygen into all the cells of the body from our lungs. So red blood cells are rich in hemoglobin, and hemoglobin helps in carrying the oxygen from the lungs to all the cells. In that way, cells receive oxygen through hemoglobin of the red blood cells that are present in our blood. Suppose a person doesn't have sufficient hemoglobin, that condition is called anemia. Sometimes we take sufficient food also, we don't feel energetic. Why? Because this oxygen that reaches to the cells should be carried by hemoglobin. If we don't have sufficient hemoglobin, oxygen cannot reach to the cells. Food will reach to the cells after digestion, absorption of food will take place. Food reaches to the cells, but the breakdown of food will take place only in the presence of oxygen. As you have learnt in the chapter respiration, the food should break down, the glucose should break down in the presence of oxygen to release energy. So if there is no hemoglobin, the oxygen supply to the cells cannot take place properly. At that time, a person becomes weak, he feels very tired. That condition is called anemia. Sometimes when you feel weak, you approach to the doctor. What does the doctor do? He immediately sees in your eyes. What does he see in your eyes? He sees the thin blood vessels which should be reddish in color. If they are not reddish in color, that means your body is not having sufficient hemoglobin. Hemoglobin percentage in the blood should be about 10%. It should be 10 to 15%. That range we should have the hemoglobin. If hemoglobin content in our blood is less, we call that condition as anemia. A person feels very tired and weak because of the lack of oxygen supply to the cells. So we should take iron rich food in order to make much hemoglobin in our blood, that are like green leafy vegetables, apple, beetroot, etc. are rich in iron. And iron, if we take sufficient iron content food, hemoglobin content in our blood will be good and we will not feel weak and we will be energetic. What are WBC? WBC are called white blood cells. They are also called as leukocytes. They are called as leukocytes. And they are not containing any pigment. That's why they are what in color? White in color. That's why they are called as white blood cells. What is their function? They help in developing our immune system. They are the cells of our immune. Immune means they give us resistance to fight against the diseases. Suppose your body has got some germs entered into our body. Suppose some germs enter into our body. Immediately these white blood cells will kill that germs or engulf that germs or capture that germs and kill them. And thereby they protect our body from this foreign germs. Germs means, you understand, that cause diseases. So in that way we can say WBC act as soldiers of our body. Soldiers means, the army, air force soldiers guard our country from the attack of enemies. Similarly, these germs are the enemies for our body because they cause diseases, they cause infection, they cause trouble to our body. So in order to protect our body from these germs attack, we have WBC. These WBC are very much helpful in fighting with germs. The third type of cells which we are going to discuss about is platelets found in our blood. They are also called as thrombocytes. Platelets are called as thrombocytes. They are small colorless cells, cell fragments in our blood. What is their function? These thrombocytes and platelets mean same. Their function, whenever we have any cut or injury, the blood does not go on flowing. It will stop after some time. It happens because of the presence of platelets. So platelets help in clotting of blood or stopping of blood during any cut, wounds or injury. Whenever any cut, wounds or injury takes place, the blood flow will stop after some time. That is called clotting. You can see here in the diagram given, the clotting of blood takes place because of the presence of platelets. So in that way we can say platelets help in clotting of blood. So with that, today I have covered about the composition of blood. What does blood contain? What is its function of each cell? Function of each cells of the blood I have discussed in detail. So we will talk about the blood vessels in the next class. Thank you, children.